Hello everyone, and welcome back to Soccer Unboxing. So welcome to now my December figure haul. I have a lot to go through today. It's going to be probably a very chunky video. And of course it was my birthday month and I got a lot of stuff for the month. Some stuff got unfortunately delayed to December. So yeah, we're just going to jump right into it because again, I have so much to go through. So let us get started. So yes, I got my little post-it here with every item in December, so I have a whole bunch of different merch to go through, such as jewelry, some art books, and, acrylic standees and such. And then I have one noodle stopper and 7 scale figures to go through, so it's definitely going to be a lot. And yeah, I'm going to try and get through these, hopefully at a relatively good pace, so let us get started with the merch pickups. So of course we have some more Master of Diabolism merch, again just expensive and won't take up too much room with your order. So I'm going to get started with the little Shikishi board right behind the standee. And yeah, the first one we have is again, Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji Shikishi board. This one has a sort of holographic border to it. And additionally, the waves have some glitter to it, which is an interesting touch. Again, very gorgeous art and print quality. I did notice on mine at least that I think the border of this Shikishi is kind of coming apart a little bit, which is a shame. I might try and glue that back on with probably like a glue stick or something. Because I do notice it also runs off the edge a little bit, so that's just something to be careful about with this kind of Shikishi. It's a little unfortunate that it might come off, so yeah, I'm gonna have to try and fix this, but again, it doesn't detract from how beautiful these two look. Then jumping into this massive standee, again, the artwork for these are just absolutely fantastic, and again, very big overall, so I don't display these right away. I'm not too sure, because I never took this out actually, what the background looks like. But again, overall fantastic looking standee. The next item I have right here is actually supposed to be a little accessory, and this is from the anime slash manga, and I think it's also a light novel series, My Happy Marriage, which I watched the anime for it and I really enjoyed it. And the main male character, he has this little accessory with of course a cherry blossom on it. That uses as kind of a hair tie, and I just picked this one up. I'm not too sure how much it was, but I thought it was a cute little accessory. And yes, you can actually just tie this on a hair tie and wear it. You can put it on your bag or purse. You can also just wear it as like a necklace, so it has, different uses, different functions. But yeah, very nice little extra accessory overall. And then next in this little box right here, I do have a necklace that I picked up, and yeah, if you can tell from maybe the logo, it is from Jujutsu Kaisen. So I'll pull this out of the actual box itself. So yes, right here I picked up this necklace, which is supposed to be of the inverted spear of heaven. So obviously the weapon that Toji uses in the premature death arc of Jujutsu Kaisen. I wanted some Toji related stuff. I don't have any figures of him, so I thought I'd pick up this necklace. Now, it was not cheap. This was I think about 5,500 yen. Yeah, quite expensive, but after sort of like holding it in my hand and just giving it a feel, I can definitely see why. It does feel like it's, pretty high quality overall. And just the work, it is very accurate to the actual weapon, and it does, it overall just feels like very high quality. I would like to wear this in the future. But yeah, super nice. I think this also came as a bracelet, but I just picked up the necklace. I don't know, I think I like the necklace a little bit more, so yeah. Hopefully I'm gonna get the chance to wear this in the future. And then the last 2 items I have for the merch pickups are these 2, of course, Fate stuff, the Fate Grand Order materials books. So I actually picked up the one for the for Fate Grand Order Arcade, and then the one in the back is which is that I can't read Roman numerals. This is 14, Fate Grand Order Materials 14. So of course I am collecting these because, again, they have the characters. Very good reference if you want to draw them and their different ascensions, because they also do like 360s of the characters, which I think is very cool. So yeah, I picked this one up. I don't know how far exactly it covers in Fate Grand Order, but yeah, nice pickup for this one. And then of course I picked up, you know, the Fate Grand Order arcade materials. Now this game was only in Japan and it closed down recently, I believed. But yeah, it collects pretty much all the servants and such from that game, and you know, a lot of exclusive characters in that sort of, you know, arcade game, which I think is pretty cool, which I do hope they eventually bring over to the actual Fate Grand Order, you know, mobile game. I think that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, again, collects a lot of the characters, and yeah, so I'm very happy to add these two extra books to my Fate materials collection. So now we're going on to the scale figures. So we're gonna start off with the one sort of prize figure, Noodle Stopper, that I picked up. I normally don't pick up these kinds of figures, but of course it is of a husbando. So of course I had to pre-order him and pick him up. So I'll show him off right now. And that is of course my FGO husbando Oberon. So this is of course his second ascension, Noodle Stopper. And when I saw this go up for pre-order, I instant pre-ordered it because I love him so much. And yeah, so the box for him was a little bit bigger than I thought it was, but a little bit understandable because of his wings. And I do like the overall design of the box. Just nice colors. I like the purple on it and the sort of winter scene that they have for him. So yeah, overall, I'm just super happy with this Noodle Stopper. I think that for what you're getting for like a prize figure is like fantastic. There really isn't any harsh paint defects or smudges or anything with him. The sculpt, I'd say, is pretty well done overall. I really love how they showed off his wings in this Noodle Stopper. And yeah, it's pretty accurate to the design of the character. And I do like the extra shading that they did on his outfit, his fluffy little scarf, I think, and then his hair. The gradation I think is super well done, and I do like the overall sculpting on his hair. The top is a little bit rough, but you won't see it, but just the rest of the hair looks pretty great again for a Noodle Stopper figure. And again, I like his pose, and his face is just so well done, especially for how, you know, again, small of a figure this is. They just really nailed the placement of the eyes, as well as giving him his signature little Oberon smirk. And yeah, so I am just super happy with this Noodle Stopper overall. So yeah, I think this is made by Furuview, I want to say, and they absolutely nailed it. And thankfully in the aftermarket he's retail price, which is good on Buy and such. So yeah, I was very surprised because some other Oberon merch is just crazy expensive. But yeah, he's relatively cheap. And I don't have really any super harsh complaints about this figure, because again, I can't criticize him too hard because he is a Noodle Stopper. I guess the one thing that I saw on him is that they printed like the copyright underneath his outfit, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't know why they did that. You can't really notice it, thankfully, but I don't know, it could have been placed like somewhere else. Yeah, so I'm super happy to have something else for my Oberon collection. And yeah, also ordered him off of HobbyLink Japan because AmiAmi, they don't do pre-orders for Noodle Stoppers. And yeah, I'm overall, you know, very happy with this pickup and just a nice extra addition to my Oberon collection. And now we're moving on to this next scale figure, which I do have to be careful with a little bit, and this is of course the Banana Fish Ash and AG 1/8 scale Artifacts J figure by Kotobukiya. So a re-release of a very expensive in the aftermarket figure because Banana Fish is just, you know, it was very popular. Everyone loves Ash and AG as a ship, so I can definitely see why. Plus, I think at the time there just wasn't many banana fish figures, plus you have the two of them together, which meant it was going to be expensive, aftermarket wise. So yes, I picked up the re-release of this figure. The box is pretty much the same as the, original Kotobukiya release. The one difference I think there is that there's like a 5th anniversary sort of stamp on there for, of course, the 5th anniversary of when the Banana Fish anime came out. And it has, I do like the colors on there, and it has sort of that New York city backdrop, which I think is cool. I'd say it's a pretty solid box overall. And yeah, so I have the two of them in this base. I'm gonna put this down because reasons I'll get into in a bit. But yes, I'm overall happy with this re-release. I think just the setup is cool. You have the banana fish, just written in spray paint on this sort of concrete base, which I do quite like. And of course you have Ash and AG together on this base. Again, there really isn't any AG scale figures, so it's very nice that he gets to be in this set piece with Ash. Assembly is pretty easy. You just stick AG onto the peg of this base, which was a little bit squeaky for me, so there was that. And Ash, you just sort of just plop onto the base, which I had to be careful with when showing him on camera because he could fall off onto the floor and I would be devastated. But yeah, there are some, minor nitpicks I might have with this figure. I do think that the base is cool and they made it look very weathered and concrete. Maybe some more like dry brushing in some areas at least. Just a little bit more darker shading in some areas. And I do like the overall sculpt for both Ash and AG. I think they look very nice. My one sort of gripe though is the shading on them. Maybe they both could have used some more shading on their clothing. Some darker shading would have been nice. I feel like it's definitely noticeable on AG with his like pink, his sort of like salmon pink shirt. I really wish there was more shading there just to define those wrinkles and folds. And also, with Ash with his jeans and such. That's just my chief complaint with these guys. But yeah, I just like the setup. I think it's very cute overall. And it won't take up too much space. So yeah, very overall happy to have picked up this, re-release and not have to pay those crazy aftermarket prices. Moving on to the next figure, we have yet another Pokemon figure, and this is the Artifacts J Dawn and Turtwig figure by Kotobukiya. So I had to pick this one up because I love Dawn's design. And of course it came with Turtwig, who I have just a very soft spot for this Pokemon. I think he's just absolutely adorable. And yeah, so this is supposed to be Dawn's Pokemon Platinum outfit, and I just love this design for her overall. Maybe a little bit more than her I almost said black and white, her Diamond and Pearl outfit. I don't know, this outfit just feels very cozy, and I just like the reds and the pinks on there. So yes, I had to pick this up. Again, inexpensive, retail wise. Don't know how much it's going to be in the aftermarket, so I just, want to get her for retail. I do like the different finishes on her, at least with her jacket. The buttons are this very nice glossy finish, and everything else is pretty much matte. And yeah, the pose I think is super cute. Her face is adorable. It's very accurate to the character. Box size, it's your standard Pokemon Kotobukiya scale. It's got nice pinks to it. The original illustration, I believe, is on the box, which is nice. And yeah, and in terms of assembly, again, these Pokemon figures already come screwed onto the base, which is nice. And then the Pokemon just kind of sits on one side of the base. You just kind of put them on there, so that's why while I'm holding her up, I'm not putting Turtwig on her base. And yeah, Turtwig just looks so cute. I love him so much. Going into, Sinnoh, Generation 4, it was probably one of my first Pokemon games, and I just have a soft spot for that game. And Turtwig was actually my starter, which was surprising. that I didn't go for Piplup, who's a penguin, of course, and I love penguins. But I had a soft spot for this cute little turtle. So yeah, I'm very happy to have picked her up for retail price, and I do have the re-release of the Dawn and Piplup figure that's coming out sometime in the future, so I'm very excited to pick that one up as well. So yeah, overall, again, very cute figure of Dawn and Turtwig. So now we're moving on to this next figure right here, which was absolute instant pre-order because I love the Mega Man series and I love Mega Man Battle Network. So this is the megaman.exe and base.exe Game Characters Collection DX version 1.5 by Mega House. So yes, a re-release of a figure that I really wanted because there's really no Mega Man Battle Network figures, and this one in the aftermarket, the previous version was 200 plus USD, and I was like, I really love this figure, but I'm not willing to pay $200 plus for it. And then this re-release happened, and I was like, yes, it's happening. I'll pre-order it, and I'm overall super happy with this figure. I mainly bought it for base. He's my favorite boy. I like EXE and classic version. I wanted it for base specifically. But yeah, there are some differences between this and the original version. The base is different. I'll probably do like a side-by-side picture. The bases are different. Base's attack effect part is different colored. And also, there is some sort of like metallic finish, at least to Mega Man, in this version that I have compared to the old version. And I actually kind of dig this metallic finish to him. I think it looks fantastic overall. And yeah, just a very cool setup of where they're fighting. I just think this looks so good overall. Assembly wise, it was a little bit tricky with Mega Man. I feel like his foot is supposed to go a little bit more into this base, but it doesn't. And then for base himself, it was actually pretty easy. So yeah, it wasn't too tricky with him. And additionally, Mega Man, he does come with like a separate head. I do have him with the mask on, which I do quite like a little bit more. So yes, I am just so happy and grateful that Mega House re-released this figure, considering that it was the time that the Mega Man Battle Network collection came out for the Switch, and I mean, I feel like that's a no-brainer. Just put this up for pre-order and people will definitely buy it. And yeah, yeah. And especially with Gospel, who's like this dog head that they're fighting on. Very cool overall that they included him, and then how it just transitions from black to like clear. I don't have any really massive complaints besides, just for me at least, a little bit tricky assembly. I think this figure came out fantastic overall, and I might like it a little bit more than the original, which is good. So if you're a big, if you love Battle Network and you want figures, I definitely recommend picking this up. I feel like it also won't take up too much space, which is good. And yeah, Mega House, I feel like they nailed it with this figure. So yeah, I'm super happy to add this to my collection overall. So now we're moving on to this figure of a character I don't know anything about, but I thought the design was cool, and this is the Grand Blue Fantasy Percival 1/8 figure by Alter for their Altera line. I fell in love with this character's design at first sight. Very cool. I like the reds and the whites on him. And all I know about Grand Blue Fantasy is that it's a mobile game, but there's also a fighting game for this, which looks very fun and I would like to try out. And yeah, I think this design, again, absolutely amazing work by Alter once again. The armor looks fantastic. I like the glossy finish for that, and yeah, just the armor itself is just so stunning to look at, and the sword as well. I do also like how they did some red translucent parts to, show it's like more gem-like in a way, which I think is a nice touch. And yeah, hair sculpt is nice overall, and I just think he's handsome, okay? I just also picked him up because he looked very handsome. And yeah, so I feel like overall fantastic work by Alter for this one. The base, kind of, you know, just a simple black base, but at least they made it look a little bit more, you know, fancy with his name and this gold design for it. Also going into the box for the figure, pretty, you know, nice, standard, usual Altair box that they used. It's got, you know, blacks and reds, and I think it has the Grand Blue Fantasy logo. I think that's what it's supposed to be on there, as well as some nice sort of red details on the plastic parts of the box, and quite big overall, but I think it's a pretty solid box design. Assembly for this one, you really just put him on the base, and his hand holding the sword comes separately, and you just have to plug that in. And yeah, pretty simple assembly overall. So I really don't have any harsh like criticisms or anything I noticed was off with this figure. There is a design choice that I maybe would have liked to see on this figure, so I'm kind of taking a page from the Fire Emblem figures. You can actually sort of just twist the arm with their weapons in it to kind of pose it. I would have liked it for Percival as well. He just has that sort of standard peg and not like a ball joint or anything. Because I tried putting him on my shelf and the tip of the sword, just that little extra bit, prevented me from putting him on my shelf. So he kind of just sits right behind me at the moment. So I think that would have been cool to do, just to kind of add some more posability and also just to save some of that vertical room. But other than that, again, fantastic work by Alter. I did actually get him off of Tokyo Otaku Mode, which is why I'm reviewing him for my December haul. And if you can get him for a lot less than 200 USD, because that's his, like, pretty much his retail price, I highly recommend him if you're especially a Grand Blue Fantasy fan, because, again, Alter really nailed it with this one. So next up we have this figure, which is the next in the Mushroom Girls line of figure by Reverse Studio, and this is the Mushroom Girls Series number 2 Kinugasatake 1:1 scale by Reverse Studio. So yes, I love this line of figures in terms of designs because they are by, or I should say illustrated by Star Shadow Magician, one of my new favorite artists. They just look so cute and I'm excited to collect the whole set. And yeah, overall, she looks fantastic in terms of shading and details on the base especially. And yeah, very cool design. I like how the mushroom for this one is transparent in some areas. And the box for this figure, it's again clear plastic, and I do like how it has the sort of mushroom design around the box. So yeah, pretty happy with that overall. And she does come, of course, with 2 different facial expressions, a closed-eyed one as well as this open-eyed one where she has, you know, these very gorgeous red eyes. Just absolutely adorable. And also this figure came with 2 extra little goodies I want to show off. So the first one I have right here is the actual instruction manual for this figure, which is printed on like very high quality paper. You have an original illustration on the front and the back of this, and it just shows you how to assemble this figure, which again, I just love this edition by Reverse Studio. You get the original illustration in there as well, and I believe at the end you get information about the mushroom that this little character is based off of. So yeah, I just love these editions and just another reason to collect these figures. And then the last item right here is actually a mini clear file, which I got confused about considering that the Benny Tengu Take figure I got previously did not come with one. Apparently, if you got the Benny Tengu off another website, besides Ami Ami, it did come with a mini clear file like this, but now they're just throwing these in with Ami Ami figures if you do pre-order this off their website. Which is interesting. I don't know why they didn't do it at the beginning, but yeah, nice little extra bonus to get with the figure. Now, I do actually have a bunch of gripes with this figure, and that is mostly with the assembly. It was an absolute nightmare, and actually I had to re-record this part a few times because she kind of wanted to just like disassemble, her arm wanted to fall off. So I'll quickly go through it because I want to vent about how frustrating of an assembly process this was. So out of the box, you know, you have the base. It is a metal peg, which I feel like is way too long for this figure. It's like probably an inch, maybe more or so, but yeah, it was kind of tricky to slide her in, and I feel like it's going to be very difficult to remove her from her base when I have to, you know, just put her away. And then putting the whole umbrella on the figure itself was just, why it was awful. How it works is that the umbrella handle has a peg that you put into the dress. The actual rod itself comes separately, and you have to kind of put it into her left hand and then into the umbrella. But her left arm, it does come out. And I really wish it did not, because when you have to put then the umbrella top on, you know, on the actual pole, you do kind of have to line it up so it's like secure. It does get wobbly if you don't put it in right. And that freaking left arm always wants to come off. I'm looking at her right now, and it's not perfectly in, you know, you do see a little bit of a gap, but there's sometimes when it looks worse, and it's just very frustrating because I did end up scraping off some paint off of the umbrella rod, which I didn't even know that was like painted. I'm gonna see if I can touch that up a little bit, but thankfully you can twist the rod so it's like not showing. But yeah, I just wish that, again, manufacturers, I feel like they should just like test the assembly so it's just less frustrating. Because I just had a frustrating time putting this figure together. I'd say it probably took me, it felt like an hour, maybe like 30 minutes just to have everything together. Additionally, her head is very loose. Like when I was just trying to put everything back together, I felt it like wobbling. It was like quite loose. And I forgot to mention, when I was putting this figure on the peg and I had to use a lot of force, I had my fingers on the little gold details, and I think my just sweat and the heat from my hands smudged it, and I did try to fix it up, but you can definitely see it's not perfect. And I was, needless to say, I was very pissed about it, because again, I should have worn gloves, I should have paid attention. So yeah, if you get this figure, be warned that the assembly could be a nightmare for you. Maybe I just got a bad copy. And I'm pretty tempted to just super glue that left arm in because it's obnoxious at this point. So yes, I hope in the future that with some of the future Mushroom Girl figures that they do make the assembly less painful, because this one was just, for me, it was aggravating. I feel like worked up talking about it. Again, I think the figure overall is fantastic. But just that assembly, I feel like, again, should have not been as hard as it is. And now finally, we have the last figure for the month, a grandiose figure that I did a review on. So let me pick her up right now to the best of my abilities. And yes, you can just see how big this figure is on camera. And this is, of course, the Hatsune Miku 1/7 15th anniversary version by Good Small Company, or as I like to call her, the Strawberry Miku figure. This design I absolutely love. It again fits with my sweet theme collection, which is why I picked her up for that very hefty price tag. And I'm gonna put her down because again, she's very heavy, so I don't want to drop her or anything. So yes, going into this figure, I'll start off with the box, of course. I absolutely love the design of it, just these pinks and the strawberries on there, and just the design I feel like is a 10 out of 10. And of course you have to include the original illustration on a couple of parts of the box. And yeah, it just feels very high quality overall. Definitely I feel like a major complaint is the size of it. It's definitely a massive space taker, so be warned about that before you decide to pick this one up. And then let's go on to the actual figure herself. I think in terms of overall sculpt and just presentation and paintwork, I think it's fantastic overall. I don't really have any, I feel like, serious complaints. Again, I'll address it further in my review for the figure, but I just think she looks absolutely wonderful. I like the different finishes, like matte, you have metallic, and you have chrome in different areas. And yeah, the face on her is so absolutely adorable, and the base I think is excellent. You have the whole platter, and you have all the little chocolate details and the extra little macaroon, which is cute. So yes, I just adore this design overall. I think Good Smile did a fantastic job overall with this figure. Just my major complaints with this figure is, of course, the assembly. Those freaking pigtails were the bane of my existence. They were just very difficult to put in for some reason, and I don't know why. Again, I'm just very careful with my figures. I don't want to use too much force and then break something off. Either I just got a copy like it where I struggled a lot, or it's like that with a lot of people, I'm not too sure. But yeah. But yes, a figure with nightmarish assembly, at least for me. I will not be putting away this figure anytime soon because I don't want to dread breaking something with those pigtails. So yeah, I still love her at the end of the day. And if you are a massive, Miku fan, or you love the design, I highly recommend picking it up if you can for hopefully a lot less than retail price. So yes, that overall concludes this December figure haul. Definitely so many scale figures to go through and some frustrations along the way. It was definitely a nightmare with some of these figures to assemble, but I still love them at the end of the day. It's just that I shouldn't be that frustrated with assembly. So yes, there was a lot, and a lot was probably spent in the month of December, so there's that as well. So thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you would like to, of course, feel free to take the time to subscribe to my channel to see what other figure and merch related shenanigans I get into next. So I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or night wherever you are, and take it easy. Goodbye.